Hey, can you hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Hey, Tiff. Hey, DS channel. Hey, can y'all hear me now? Have y'all heard anything that I said? Because I was just sitting up here talking, running my mouth. Did anybody hear what I said? Okay. I'm going to say it again. If you're not scared of competition and you have channels that rock with you, you support that channel and push that channel ahead of your channel. Because you have a base. But people that have channels underneath you, you want them channels to have a base as well. So therefore, you push them channels. That's why you hear me pushing channels on my page. Every channel I don't push. But what I'm about to start doing is every channel that I push, I'm going to put it on my community wall for the week. I'm going to share them out. That's how your network get bigger. That's how your network get bigger. But y'all see the title. Government, what the hell y'all just do? Jennifer Bongean and Super Saiyan mode for Kellz Part 3. Jump in. If y'all missed Part 2 last night, go back and look at it. If y'all missed Part 1 yesterday, go back and look at it. But Part 3 is the best part. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let's get into this thing. Let's go.
A storm is coming.
Reporting live from Baltimore, not the county, Baltimore, the real Baltimore, Baltimore City. You have chosen to call, and I know a lot of your Luchos was from Baltimore, but today you're going to find out that you're not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I come from a city where we don't acknowledge the state. The B shit is took that in place. Watch how you speak about Baltimore, dummy. Wear hair 990s all on your face. No matter the city, they all want to know about the wire and killings all over the news. These bitches digging out Xing on my niggas dick. Keep on Xing if they can say T. I'm trying to tell them, Baltimore ain't even Baltimore. DC is not even on the road. I play Virginia so much get them shot while I'm on the road. Counties be claiming they honorable. I try to tell them to chill. Yeah, I try to tell them for real. Yeah, you can take me out of Baltimore, but I'ma still bring that Baltimore here. 4 wings, salt and pepper, ketchup with the hot sauce. Can't sit long, shit get you knocked off. Always play mirrors, shit get you swiped off. We get them cooked up, chefs out, eyeball. Bitches is claiming that they from the city. Damn, I just can't help that we litty. If you really from the city, who that red bitch over east? On B, she get busy. Can't Swift Baltimore, Club Mix Baltimore. We don't do go-go, we know they ain't Baltimore. Them niggas dragging, must be from Baltimore. Them bitches bad, ooh they from Baltimore. 92Q on that radio, Baltimore. We hit them with the two-step giving Baltimore. They from security, no they ain't Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. You from the west, that shit is Baltimore. Park Heights the Avenue, that shit is Baltimore. Junction the Village, that shit is Baltimore. Sandtown is rapping and stepping is Baltimore. Pikesville and PG, nah they ain't Baltimore. You from the north, that shit is Baltimore. Grandma and Cater, your road, Baltimore. Anyway, it's everybody versus Baltimore. Nah, I can't study the wire to work on my accent. Fuck out of here, niggas actors. I'm born and raised in the city. They drop a body and niggas act like nothing happened. For Freddie, we riot. It's up if they try us. How the fuck outstate some attorney indicted? One thing about this whole city be wildin'. Bippin' the act or haunted when riotin'. Know it's they
Red's not supposed to be green, like faith's not supposed to be seen. The sky's not supposed to touch the ground, and a square's not supposed to be round. The moon's not supposed to touch the sun, and a two is not supposed to be a one. And the heart's not supposed to weigh a ton, and forever's not supposed to be done. Winter's not supposed to come in June, and I am not supposed to have the blues. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, babe, except you and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, ooh, babe, yeah, except you and me. Night's not supposed to be long, yeah. No one is supposed to be alone. Understanding is not supposed to be confused, and the wind is not supposed to lose. Like fire's not supposed to freeze, or like joy is not supposed to grieve. Like you are not supposed to leave what I said I'm not supposed to mean. He is not supposed to have your heart. Baby, we are not supposed to be apart. There are so many things that are not supposed to be said. You and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be. Hey, baby, it seems just like no seasons changing, or this earth with no creation, or a heart with no feelings, or a sickness without a healing. Just like a frozen spring, or a bird with no wings. Just like a song out of key, that's how my life would be. Like the night skies with no stars, or lonely broken heart. No holding hands or walks in the park. That's how it would be if we went apart. Ooh. except you and me.
And I stayed into something. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer is hard. The attacks get stronger, become much harder to fight, and they last longer. That's what it's always been. Joy with the pain, dark with the light, sun with the rain. With the right perspective, there can be something to gain.
Yo, can I with you? What?
ACT, did you see this?
Look, if it ain't official DanaJay, Levi for Kelly, or Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Just take it off. Look, you got some weed? Dang, I gotta get some. All right, hurry up. Diesel and them here, everybody here, we waiting on you. All right.
But I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ discretion. DJ discretion.
Low still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ discretion.
Low still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
And here we go.
Say it later, what you gonna do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass count, gotta make it last now. Start off slow, then I'ma beat it up.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
What up, y'all? What up, Dream Team? What's going on? Everybody that's here. I'm excited. Now, last night I got kind of weary. I was kind of wondering what's going on, and I was like, oh my God, what's this? Thank you so much. So I had to put something together to strategize this. And I was looking at a few channels last night when I got off. I seen an all-out brawl on one channel. I seen another channel struggling. They seem kind of crazy and off. Then I looked at Pacer. And I seen an order go out. Then I looked at Miss Bongean. And I seen her go Super Saiyan mode, and I went live again. But I prayed on it after I got off that live and I went to sleep, and I asked for direction. Then my bro called me today and we chopped it up, and the direction came. Now, it's the same direction I've been getting, but I've been hard-headed. I've been breaking that direction. You know, I got to prove a point. But within that talk, something came out. And I'm listening and I'm saying, whew. But. Then I'm listening. Then I'm listening. And I realized that since Robert has been incarcerated, we've been doing this wrong. The Dream Team been attacking Larry and Oak Cove and Angelo and all of them. And all the naysayers and Gail King. But we've been doing it wrong. But today, I'm going to walk in the devil's camp. Because I ain't attacking Oak Cove. For what? They don't make no decisions. But I come to knock on the door of the government. Ain't nobody been bold enough to open these doors. Miss Shahada. Miss Valdez, whatever her name is. And Donnelly. Oh, yeah. I want that smoke. Because I see what you're doing. So, let's get down to it. Shall we? Robert's been locked up, and I got to take you back. I never forget this motion that Greenberg put in, and Greenberg was stalling. And Donnelly, you got mad and said, this is not going to be allowed in my court. I remember it like it was yesterday. I can't tell you which motion it was, but you said, oh, thank you, Miss Ann, I love you. You said, and I'm talking about Annie Fitzgerald. Thank you so much, I love you. I get it, you're right. So, I get it. You told the defense that them stalling ain't going to be allowed in your court. I get it. Also, I get, I'm going to take it from there and speed it up a little bit. Also, I get this right here. I'm jumping a little bit, but you'll get it. I get when when Miss Bongean said, "Dear Judge Donnelly, Defendant respectfully submits this letter requesting that this court reconsider its order denying defendant's motion to adjourn his sentencing hearing, where defendant was not afforded the opportunity to reply to the government's letter filed on yesterday. Even if this court declines to reconsider its order, defendant files this letter to ensure that the record adequately reflects his objections to the government's position. Undersigned counsel received defendant's probation sentence report, PSR, today that reflects the probation's view that defendant is eligible for a sentence of imprisonment of life apart from a sentence of death. Defendant faces the most severe sanction available in our criminal justice system. Notwithstanding the stakes, the government asks this court to prioritize the accuser's schedules over defendant's right to a fair sentencing hearing, which will invariably be compromised by this inability to speak openly and candidly to a mitigation expert as another massive federal prosecution looms. The government scoffs at the notion the defendant would say anything to a potential mitigation expert that would incriminate him in the NDIL matter, suggesting that undersigned counsel's concerns are disingenuous. The government knows, or should know, that any statement made by a defendant, even statements that are seemingly exculpatory, implicate Fifth Amendment concerns. By incriminating response, we refer to any response, whether inculpatory or exculpatory, that the prosecution may seek to introduce at trial. The government feigns incredulity, knowing full well that at defendant's trial it did not hesitate to introduce statement evidence and argue that most nefarious inferences therefrom. In short, it is not quite as simple as choosing not to incriminate oneself. Y'all know the rest of this because we read it yesterday. Okay? So pretty much, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. The risk of inadvertent self-incrimination is particularly high where defendant's entire life must be explored. After all, the prosecution of defendant was an unrelenting attack on his life, his character, and his habits for over 25 years. As a reminder, mitigation explores the whys of a case and involves the presentation of information that explains inter alia why a defendant is unique and why he behaved in a particular manner. Because the prosecution's argument and aggravation will focus on a quarter century of defendant's life, a mitigation expert will have no choice but to ask defendant intimate questions about every aspect of his life, including matters that are relevant to pending litigation. It is naive to conclude that defendant can freely and meaningfully participate in that process without potentially prejudicing himself and his pending NDIL case. Defendant is his best source of mitigation. But he will be hamstrung if his sentencing hearing is conduct before resolution of the NDIL case, where this court has already agreed to adjourn the hearing until June the 16th, 2022. It seems a small axe to continue sentencing an additional 8 weeks to ensure that defendant is afforded every constitutional safeguard to which he is entitled. It's only his life on the line. So Jennifer Bongean broke that down, and I'm gonna skip all that because that's about himself. I mean, that's about her situation. And then she ends and say, however, undersigned counsel's concerns remain that defendant faces a Hobson's choice of risking his Fifth Amendment privileges in favor of fully and meaningfully participating in an interview with a mitigation expert or foregoing that process of and cheating himself of fulsome mitigation evidence that could be valuable to this court in fashioning an appropriate sentence for the defendant. Accordingly, defendant respectfully asks this court to reconsider its order. So with that being said, Ann Donnelly put in an order that went something like this. You see the date, 04/05/22. It says, order granting in part and denying in part. 279. Motion to continue sentencing as to Robert Sylvester Kelly. The court denies the application to adjourn the sentence until after the completion of the trial in the Northern District of Illinois. But because the pre-sentence report was filed today, grants an adjournment until 6/16/2022 at 10:30 a.m. in courtroom 4G North. Then it says the parties are reminded that any objections to the pre-sentence report are due by April 19th, 2022, ordered by Judge Ann M. Donnelly on 4/5/2022. Boom. Right here is what I just read. Jennifer Bongean put in immediately a letter motion for consideration, order on motion to continue sentencing by Robert Sylvester Kelly. She immediately put this in, right? So immediately after that, like 4 hours, about six or 7 hours after, right here, same date, 04/05/22. Ann Donnelly said, this is an order. Y'all see it, order in bold. As to Robert Sylvester Kelly, the government is directed to respond to the defendant's 285, y'all see it right above it, 285 motion for consideration by April the 7th, 2022, ordered by Judge Ann M. Donnelly on 4/5/22. And you see where it went to. Y'all see that Ann Donnelly ordered that, right? Remember when I said Greenberg put in a stall tactic and Ann Donnelly attacked him and said that's not going to happen in her court. Remember I said that. Remember what I just showed you, because last night an order was put in. The order from the government went like this. The following transaction was entered on 4/5/2022 at 9:49 p.m. EDT and filed on 4/5/22. Case name USA versus Kelly. Case number 119-CR00286 AMD. Filer, nobody put their name to file it. Document number, no document attached. Pause. It was emailed, the docket text. Order as to Robert Sylvester Kelly, the government is directed to respond. That's the docket text. Here it is, 119-CR00286 AMD1. Notice has been electronically mailed to. Here we go. Here we go. Now watch this. If it was properly done, I don't know if y'all can see it together. If it was properly done, it would have been entered on record. I'm trying to get these two together. Hold on. I'm trying to get to show y'all these two together. Let me move this over some more. Let's see if I can get this done together. Hold on. I'm trying to get it adjusted on my other screen. It won't come up together. Why? Let me see something. If I can do this together. Love that lasts forever. All right. Y'all see it? Okay. Y'all see it? I'm going to just have to skip back and forth so I can't do it together. Y'all see it? It was sent out. Right? It was sent out. But it never reached the docket. Or should I say it reached the docket, but it was never put in place. It was never put underneath the order. Why? Because there never was their response put to this. So you got to ask yourself this question. Ann Donnelly came out and publicly told the defense that she's not going to have this in her court. Okay. So if that's the case, Ann Donnelly, why is the government allowed a stall tactic? Now here's where it was in order. She put it in, filed electronically, ECF with pay. Diva, I want you to look at this. I have the up-to-date activity, Diva. No document attached. This is the whole joint. No document attached. So she filed to them. And here you go at the bottom. Notice has been electronically mailed to. Well, here's what I'm going to say. You electronically mailed no document. What up, Diva? You electronically mailed no document to the defense, which gives you stall tactic time. So when Ann Donnelly say, why didn't you mail your response? The government can say, oh, I did. Oh, it was nothing attached to it. It was no presentation, no nothing, no paperwork, no nothing attached to it. Oh, we thought that we mailed it. Give a bogus excuse and say, well, Judge, can we get an extra day or two to go ahead and resend it over? That only plays out like that when you have nothing to come back that makes sense. When Greenberg did it, and I pointed it out on Greenberg, so can't nobody say I'm being biased. Because when Greenberg did it, I came out and I said, that's bullshit. He did it to buy time. And people's like, Dana, Nope, that's a stall tactic. He did it to buy time. And Ann Donnelly caught it and reprimanded him. So that is an order. No, you missing what I'm saying, Diva. And you missing what I'm saying. You missing what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what Ann Donnelly has put as an order. I'm talking about the movement that the government did. So, when the government put in their response with nothing in it, they just put an email in it that's blank. No response, no nothing. That's why it's not showing up on PACER. Because technically, Ann Donnelly cannot improve a blank response. If so, that's grounds for negligence. Now, here we go. That's a stall tactic to try to get something that makes sense. Now, Ann Donnelly put in an order and said it have to be in before 12 midnight tonight. That will make the 7th. Their argument is we sent it. Our argument, well, Judge Donnelly, is nothing there. Their comeback argument, Well, Judge, we packaged it all together. Maybe something got mixed up in the computer. Yada, yada, yada. Can we get an extra day to go ahead and make sure this is what we want to send and send it back? They are collecting what they need because they don't have what they need right now. No, Diva, you're lost. You're behind. Something else was supposed to have came out. The government put another one out late last night at 9:49. So, yes, we read the government response to 279. But in the order that Judge Donnelly said, just let me help Diva real quick, because Diva is, she caught up with it too. The order completely says, right here, order as to Robert Sylvester Kelley, the government is directed to respond to the defendant's 285 motion, which is this one right here, not the 279. The government responded to, right here. They responded to the 279. They never responded to the 285, to the 281, nor the 282, nor the 283. So, and Donnelly said, forget the 283, 282, and 281. And the 280. We need you to respond to the 285 motion, which is the one I just read. And listen, the government have until the 7th. I get that, Diva. But this is what they put in last night at 9:49 p.m. Elizabeth Geddes, Jennifer Bongean, and Maria Krule. So whoever, so I take it that Donna Green is the one that did this because she didn't put her filer name on there at all, nor did she include a document. Remember, it's more of them than it is, I'm gonna put it like this, Diva, and I'm gonna include you. It's more of y'all than it is us. That's how Jennifer Bongean was able to post this. Because she's showing how the government is trying to use dirty tactics to try to keep their case somewhat sufficient. At the end of the day, that was not an order from the judge. Make it make sense. I get it, Diva. You're trying to cover. I love it. That's why I love debating with you, because you will cover for what you believe in and the people that you rock with. Even if you're wrong, you will cover for them. I love that. Don't never change that, Diva. But right now, you got the king on your ass. So, why y'all here? Why Diva here? Because see, Atmos ain't going to come. Robert Keller ain't going to come. Because they know I'm on that ass. Now, Diva said no dirty tactics. Really? Diva? You don't believe that. You just saying it to cover face. I get it. But you ain't going to do that here. You ain't going to win that one. And I'm going to tell you why. Nobody have yet to talk about these text messages from Alice Clary. But even if y'all don't want to talk about that, nobody has yet to talk about, and this is a Whitney D question, since I know she's in direct contact with Azriel. How were you a victim of Robert Sylvester Kelley when you got out the van and when you went around other men, you were made to look at the ground and not look at them, but you recorded? And you've been working on your EP since 2018. Ain't no confusion over here. Y'all confused, Diva. Ain't no confusion. I'm going to ask you this. Dream Team, if y'all confused, put yes in the chat. If y'all not confused, put no in the chat. No, y'all confused. And what up, Justin? Y'all the ones that's confused, Diva. Oak Cove is confused. They like, wait a minute. It's unraveling. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We ain't confused over here. We see what's going on. We know what's going on. Told you, we ain't confused. We know exactly what's going on. So Whitney D, while you always talking about Bojangles and this, here's a question that I gotta ask. How was Azriel recording and working on her EP if she was a victim from 2018 until now? No. Miss Esquire rocks with the government. I don't have no beef with Miss Esquire, Diva. I love her presentation. But her job and her responsibility and her loyalty is to the Bar Association. It's not to nothing else. So since her association and loyalty is to the bar, I gotta go with a lawyer whose association is to her client, whom I believe is innocent. So no matter how people try to spin it, hey, I have questions. So Whitney, can you answer that question for me, please, on your platform? I love your platform. I love coming to watch. You're very amusing. I love to watch Whitney D program, especially when she be like, well, don't you know, you tell me. I love Whitney. She confuses the hell out of me sometimes, but I love watching it because I get points that I can come back and argue with. Now, Diva, back to y'all. Robert Keller, you said R. Kelly had herpes in New York, and he intentionally knew he had herpes, and he gave it to Faith. That's what you said, right? Well, let's look at some stuff. Whew. Because, see, you keep Angie up all night. See, you know I run you off the phone. And I run you out of chats. You know that. But you still my dog. So, is this 279? No, that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for Donna. Hold on, let me see which one I'm looking for. Looking for reply to motion. Is this it? Hold on. Is it 283 that I'm looking for? Let's see. I just read it the other day. So hold on. Let me look. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all, because I'm about to pull out something. That's the government response. I'm about to pull out something. Let's see. Is this the one I'm looking for? Let's see. When she talk about Jane. Let's see. Forced Labor Racketeering Act. I believe this is the one right here. Okay. Yep. This is the one right here. Here we go. Robert Keller, you said believe the paperwork, right? So I'm going to believe the paperwork. And see, and nobody is breaking this down like this. Racketeering Act 9, Jane. Let's read. In response to the defendant's claim that the government failed to prove that defendant took any action to induce, persuade, entice, or coerce Jane to travel to California. Nope, that's not the one I'm looking for. Nope. Forced labor, that's what Geronda. Nope, go back. That's Manic Geronda. Nope, go back. I'm looking for Faith. Here we go. I believe this is it. I'm looking for Faith. Both women. Pride of California, Jane's mama. Let's go. Here we go. Let's read this whole section right here, B. The government continues to push a narrative it knows to be false. Opening statement. The government continues to push a narrative it knows to be false. Stop. If the government was really able to sue, why didn't Ms. Bongean label the government as a him or her, or John or Doe? Why did she label it as it? Because nobody never seen the government before. But let's go. Namely, the defendant induced, enticed, coerced, or even persuaded Jane or Faith to travel to meet him in California and New York respectfully, to engage in illegal sexual misconduct. The undisputed evidence shows nothing of the sort. In both scenarios, defendant asked Jane and Faith to meet him at his concerts, and they accepted. Both young women were eager to meet defendant and did so with a clear understanding that it would likely involve sex. As set forth in detail in defendant's opening papers, Jane's contemporaneous text messages with her mother show that Jane's mother engineered Jane's relationship with defendant. Then it says the text messages reflect that Jane and her mother communicated inconsistently about how Jane could entice defendant into a relationship that Jane's mother hoped would catapult her into stardom. Prior to traveling to California, Jane's mother demanded that she continue to text defendant. And then cited her words. You better be texting him so you will stay on his mind. Oh, but wait. I thought those text messages wasn't real, Robert Kelly. I thought R. Kelly made that up. I thought R. Kelly made her say that. Well, she testified the same thing on trial. But I guess R. Kelly made that up too. I guess R. Kelly made her say that too. But let's continue. Jane dutifully reported to her mother that she had spoken to defendant about flying to California to meet him, and that defendant told her that she could meet him whenever I tell him tomorrow if I choose. That's her words again. As the government concedes, defendant had no idea that Jane was 17 years old, since Jane and her parents actively misled defendant about her age. Not only did defendant do it, but the parents did it too. During her trip to California with defendant, Jane and her mother were inconsistent communication. Were inconsistent means regular communication with defendant. Jane never once complained that she had been enticed on false pretenses or that she felt misled. Quite the opposite. The text messages reflect that Jane was having the time of her life and thrilled to be romantically connected to the defendant. Similarly, Faith's testimony on this issue shows that defendant asked her if she wanted to hang out. Faith agreed, and defendant merely paid for her travel. The record is devoid of any evidence of persuasion, enticement, or inducement, or coercion. I added coercion in that part, on the part of the defendant. Faith may have decided to travel and hang out with the defendant because she sought to be near a celebrity. But this motivation on her part had nothing to do with defendant's conduct. Defendant's status as a famous R&B singer does not amount to enticement, notwithstanding the government's argument to the contrary. The government suggests that defendant's act of arranging for Jane's travel is sufficient to demonstrate that he induced her to travel to California because he caused her to travel. The law says otherwise. The Second Circuit has made clear that the terms persuade, induce, entice, and coerce, and I'm not making that up, that's there, are words of common usage that have plain, ordinary meanings. And then it's case law, two case laws to support it. The court distinguishes this conduct from merely asking, which is not sufficient to demonstrate criminality. Recognizing that there might be some uncertainty as to the precise demarcation between persuading, which is criminalized, and asking, which is not. That's not, see, they didn't break that down at court for the jurors. Keeping with its pattern of rewriting statutes, the government suggests that it need only to prove that defendant caused Jane and Faith to travel to meet him to sustain the charge. The government relies on a 1959 case from the Fourth Circuit that interpreted the now defunct version of the Mann Act that was historically used by the government to persecute black men who had relationships with white women. Harms versus United States case law that was cited. The current iteration of the Mann Act does not contain the cause language like the 1958 version did. Moreover, as discussed in detail, infra harms actually stands for the proposition that the government must provide specific proof of persuasion to sustain its burden. Okay? So let's keep going. Let's go. I'm going to skip the rest of that. I'm going to go to C. The government charged defendant with a violation of the Mann Act as to Faith, based on the theory that he committed the offense of reckless endangerment when he had unprotected sex with her in New York without disclosing he suffered from genital herpes. Wait a minute. Without disclosing he suffered from genital herpes. Okay, let's go. The government again rehashes its excessive herpes testimony, insisting that a reasonable jury could easily conclude from the trial evidence that defendant created a substantial risk of physical injury. But check this out. When he had unprotected sex with Faith, taking the government's evidence in its best light, it failed to prove that when defendant had sex with Faith, he created substantial risks of physical injury. Watch this. First, because Faith was not afflicted with herpes and did not testify that she observed any evidence that defendant had an active infection. Hold up. Read that again. I want y'all to understand. Read that again. First, because Faith was not afflicted with herpes and did not testify that she observed any evidence that defendant had an active infection.
What?
Then it gets better. The only reasonable inference to draw is that defendant did not have any type of outbreak when he and Faith had sex in New York. The government insists that this fact is irrelevant, but whether defendant was engaging in unprotected sex while suffering from an active infection or during a period when he had no symptoms is entirely relevant to his state of mind and relevant to the issue of whether he acted recklessly or not. Surely the government would agree, and would argue that it is more reckless. How is it more reckless when there's no outbreaks? You can only catch herpes when there's an outbreak. But let's keep going. And the risk of harm is more substantial if defendant had unprotected sex with Faith during an active outbreak. Thus, the question of whether Faith was infected with herpes in New York is relevant. The defendant's state of mind and whether he acted with the requisite intent. Furthermore, the government's evidence simply did not prove that there was a substantial risk of death or serious physical injury. As argued at great length, the defendant's opening memorandum of law, the government's herpes expert testified at length about rare complications of herpes that arguably would qualify as serious physical injury. But unless those risks were substantial, the government cannot meet its burden. Since the risk of serious physical injury associated with herpes is low rather than substantial risk, the government failed to prove reckless endangerment, which is facts. But let me go back up to something. Let's go here. Surely, okay, the question of whether Faith was infected with herpes in New York is relevant. So let's go here. Y'all quick to say that Robert had herpes. But as you just looked at me when I read, he had no outbreak. So therefore, the genital herpes dissolved and laid dormant. But we ain't going to talk about how it's proven that Faith had contracted herpes from another person before she met Robert, per her sister, per her best friend, Summer Bunny. Now, watch this. The argument that other people are going to have is, well, you can't really go by what Summer Bunny say because Summer Bunny said it. So let's watch this. Y'all can go by the whole testimony of goddamn, what's the girl, what is the girl in Chicago? What is the girl in Chicago? Oh, man. Y'all can go by the testimony of Javante Cunningham. So here's the question. If y'all can go by the testimony of Javante Cunningham, why can't y'all go by the testimony of Summer Bunny, whom was there 24/7, where Javante Cunningham allegedly was only there at a certain short period of time? Make this make sense. If we're going to do this, we're going to do this together. And we're going to do it right, or we ain't going to do it at all. So I heard the argument on this panel last night. And I heard the disrespect flying. However, both sides were wrong. Because you got one side that's arguing out of feelings because, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it again. The only reason you will argue out of context and out of feelings, only if you was violated and your violator was never caught. I keep saying it. To the other side, the only way you respond with disrespect and stupidness is if, one, you only trying to be seen, or one, you trying to cover for someone that you really don't know, and you really don't know the paperwork, but you sit back and you want to gain notoriety because you want to feel like you are the protector. Let's make this make sense. I thank y'all for the cash apps. I meant for the super chats. I'm sorry. I thank y'all so much. Let's go here. Thank you so much, Verl. We going to talk this real stuff now. I know we done seen the disrespect. We done seen the talking about the kids. We talking about the mama. We gonna kill this. We gonna kill that. Fuck all of that. Let's talk realness. And the realness is this man that's behind me. You heard him say they trying to give him life. And then it said separate from the death penalty. Over a lie? So if they can align Robert up to get life, possibly the death penalty, then what you think they're going to do to us? Granny, I'm glad you said that. I will never say that. And I'm going to tell you why. If the government really had Faith medical records and no herpes, don't you think the government would have came out and said that? The government ain't say that in no motion since this trial started. None. And I'm going to tell you why they can't come out and say it. Unless it's in court. It's a HIPAA violation. It's a HIPAA violation. So if we can take Javante line testimony about, oh, I seen Robert and Aaliyah doing this. Stop. And this is why I said Javante was a liar. And I don't have no beef with Javante. Let's make that known. But here's why I say she a liar. Because you wasn't around Aaliyah. You was around Sparkle. You was Sparkle backup dancer, not Aaliyah's. Did I let that out the bag? Sparkle was the one that was brought in to be the backup dancer for Aaliyah, not Javante. So only through word talk and word cross exchange can Javante Cunningham come out and say that, because the dates that she said, those were the dates that Sparkle came to meet Aaliyah via Earl. Now ask me in my line. And I heard somebody say, oh, Earl got a beef with Robert because of Sparkle. No. If you're going to say that, know exactly what it is. Earl beef with Robert is two things. One, Your wife didn't want to come home after she threw herself onto Robert. 1. 2. Robert tried to talk to you, Earl, and you ain't want to hear. You thought Robert was capping. 3. You tried to hold Robert responsible for Sparkle not wanting to come home. 4. Let's finish with 3. 3. You disrespected Robert in that conversation over Sparkle. 4. Robert ain't never come out and disrespect you, but he disrespected you when he did the video. I forgot the name of the video, but he did the video. It's the video that Robert had the overalls on, and he was talking about, what was that? Because that you better be careful what you say to me is on my mind, but it's not that. I don't think it's that video. When a woman's fed up video, and the overall that he had on, that's what Earl used to wear to work. And Robert had that same jumper on, sending Earl a message, a direct message. Hey, Truth, strong warrior. So these are the issues that people ain't discussing. Because when you go into the real issues behind it, you will find that it's a motive in getting Robert off the streets. So yeah, Robert ain't come back and say, oh, Earl, you know I do. No, he made a video and wore the same overalls that you wear to work. And you knew it was directed towards you, because when you try to disrespect him publicly, he came back and disrespected you in another way worldwidely. But nobody understood. They just thought, oh, them overalls are tight. No, but everybody that knows Robert, that's in the in crowd, knew that that was the disrespect to you because you openly disrespected him. So he wore the same overalls that you wear to work and the same boots that you wore to work. In the video. Talking about when a woman's fed up. He's telling you. She been tired of you, Earl. She was looking for somewhere to go. So is it Robert's fault or is it your fault? Because you didn't peep the signs of your wife. Make this make sense. That's why I tell guys, you can't get mad at a woman if she dips off. Women process sugar, honey, iced tea differently. If a woman really leaves, you best to believe she checked out 6 months ago. You best to believe she checked out 6 months ago. With women, it start with mental. With us, it's physical. When we check out, nah, shorty, I don't even want to touch you no more. That's how women be like, oh, okay. But with women, it's mental. They'll come, they'll sex you up, they'll wind you down, they'll rub you all down, and the whole time they thinking about the next person that they are engaging into. I didn't say want to engage into, I said that they are engaging into. Ladies, if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, please. It took me to mess up on women to understand women. It took me to understand that, okay, I can't treat everybody the same. If I'm banging you out, I can't bang you out the same way I bang you out. I can't tell you I love you and I love you without having a problem, because sooner or later it's going to catch up. That's how guys get caught. And this not a class on how not to get caught. I'm just putting it out there. Why Earl hate Robert? And the first thing people saying, oh, it's because of underage. Then let me destroy this notion. Robert's a pedophile, this and this and this. Okay, let me destroy this. A pedophile is a person who cannot control himself. And he only preys on young females or young kids. Rob Duggar or Duggar from 19 and pregnant again, he's a pedophile. He told you, I don't want nothing over the age of 15. When they came and confiscated his computer, he had videos with him having sex with his 2-year-old daughter on it. That's why when they gave him house arrest, he couldn't be in a house with his wife or his kids. I broke that story down. That went over a lot of people's head. So how can he get house arrest, which is proven that he's a pedophile? But you don't give Robert house arrest and you claim he's in a danger to the community. These are conversations that when people talk about we having the intelligent conversation, this is why they don't want to have that round table. Because somebody like me will get on there and start talking like this. And when you talk like this, it's bad for mainstream media. Because now you spitting out to masses upon masses and you making them do what? Think. Prime example. Look at Jai Savage. She's now side-eyeing her parents, right? One thing y'all didn't catch. She said, I don't talk to my parents like that no more. We used to talk a lot, but not no more. So why are they not out here running a campaign on, I want to see my daughter every day? Why Jai Savage is not being a campaign muck run on? Because Jai's not with R. Kelly. Jai's with a local Joe trying to make it that got a little bit of success, but not enough to sustain the Savage's lifestyle. See, I sit back and let people talk. And I'll even play into the dumb game. But when I have enough, and I say enough is enough, I'm going to bring you nothing but adulterated truth. Now, y'all gotta either research what I'm saying to combat what I'm saying, or sit back and think and say, he got a point. It's a method to my madness. My whole objective of being here, vindicating for Robert, is not to have you think like me, is to make you think. So if Robert is a pedophile, if Robert's whole main objective is to bring out hits just to have sex with underage women, how was he able to have a kid with Drill, have 3 kids with Drill? If that's the case, how come this 40-something-year-old lady who's married to a police officer, once again, the police officer didn't take her home. She round up with R. Kelly. He spanked it one good time. She fell in love. She didn't want the police officer husband to touch her again. And now he want to sue R. Kelly for his negligence. Make this make sense. A pedophile don't want nothing up in age. Let's go here. Team Truth. Where's the 6-year-old? Where's the 12-year-old? Where's the 14-year-old? And I know what some people going to say. The 14-year-old is Rashonda Landfair. That's the one that was on the tape that he peed on. But when you reverse and turn the hands of time back, you clearly see the person on that tape was Damon Pryor and Lisa Van Allen, not R. Kelly. Let me help you out with something else. Damon Pryor used to be R. Kelly's body double when they walked around in Chicago. Go research it. So what better way to set Robert up than to have your body double do some things on tape to signify it's you. But the only way they can tell a difference is because the mole. Damon Pryor don't have a mole on his back. Rob do. Make this make sense. So I'll sit back. No, and it wasn't at Trump Towers. Huh? You know it. Wait a minute. Let me read this. You know it would have been on the news that Robert's investing house was raided at the Trump Tower. How come the blower Robert lawyers on getting old information from the security guards at Trump Tower? I don't know what you're saying. Because I'm getting two stories from that, Dennis. Rephrase what you're saying. Why they didn't kick them out the house and use the apartment for evidence in the storage unit would have been under criminal investigation. Department. What department? When the FBI raids or Homeland Security house, or an apartment, they kick everybody out. The house collected evidence and lock the house down or apartment. Yes, they do. Dennis, but if you have an informant that's in that house or that's at the apartment or that's at the storage, they'd tell them to at least stay at least a block away and stay out of visible line or visible eyesight. And they will give an ETA of how long they will be, as we heard on Presidents, when Azriel called them and was making up stuff as she went, and they told her, wait a minute, are you there? Because they was puzzled. Shabazz, if you watching this, can you send me that one part when Azriel was talking to the government on the phone? I want to play that. If not today, when I get it, I'll play it and I'll break it down and I will continue it from this point so that way y'all can hear the voice dynamics of it. Love is Beautiful Jones said pedophiles are sexually oriented towards children age 13 and younger. Rob is not a pedophile. I know that, and I'm glad you know that. And Lisa Van Allen and Rashonda Landfag, dad and they look identical when Lisa was young. Facts. Rashonda Landfag was Lisa Van Allen body double. Faces and Beyond. Hey, okay. When FBI and Homeland Security raid everything, no one stays. Facts. Not unless you're an informant. If you are an informant, they'll tell you to back out and get out of eyes view. That's what I thought you were saying. Yeah. I believe he's trying to say that B, if Rob House was raided, it would have been on the news. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I don't want to assume. Not when he here. When Jared House was raided, they showed us also on the TV. They entered with bags of evidence and they left with bags of evidence. Search all this computers. Right. They questioned Jared's wife to she proven that she wasn't involved with none of his dealings. Right. That's a fact. Facts. Yep. Free R. Kelly. Okay. What up, Kenny? Facts, Dennis. Yep. And then I'm going to go here. This is what you always got to remember. When Azriel was first approached, she gave the government hell. And I'm going to clear something up with everybody. It wasn't until Robert told her, I'm not switching you and Joy out. That's when she flipped. Because she was built up to believe. She was built up to believe that she was the only one. When Robert always made it clear that, yes, I deal with both of you. Now, was it said that Azriel was the dominant one? Yes. Was Joy a alpha? No. She's more of a passive aggressive. Is Azriel a alpha? Yes. But Robert did what was right. When Azriel's 6 months was up, Joy waited. Joy could have easily said, I don't want to wait to Zell stuff up. I want to come visit you now. But she waited. Then when it was her turn, Azriel couldn't handle it. Why? Because Azriel had to know everything that was going on. And that signals that it was dissension in the household between Azriel and Joy when Robert got booked. Yes, the outside made it look good. And that's when Nicole came in and was both of their lawyer. She made it look good. They was holding hands, they was walking, but they wasn't saying nothing. But if you go back and look at the videos, the faces tell it all. Joy nor Azriel wanted to be there with each other. And see, and I'm going to go here. Everybody say, oh no, Az just wanted to be with Robert and up under Robert. No, it wasn't about that. It's about the information. Everything was going to Az in her name because she was the most advanced in computer everything. However, when Robert chose to do what was right, Az got jealous. Why? Because you're no longer the dominant person of information for 6 months. Make it make sense. I'm just saying. I challenge everybody to watch what I'm saying. Watch what's going on with the government and everything. They sent the blank communication, which is right here. They sent the blank communication to the rest of their compadres and to Jennifer Bongean. Because technically, they didn't have nothing to come back with. They didn't have nothing to come back at Jennifer Bongean with. That 285 is the most powerful a letter that's out there. So when people say, oh no, they already responded, and Donnelly gave the order. You think I'm lying? Here's the order right here. As to Robert Sylvester Kelly, the government is directed to respond to defendant's 285 motion for reconsideration by April the 7th, 2022, ordered by Judge Ann M. Donnelly. Well, they put it in. It just didn't have a body. So you got the head, which is the hitting. You got the feet, which is the people that it was sent to. You got the waist, which is the docket text and everything. But you don't have a stomach. You don't have organs. You don't have a neck. You don't have arms. You don't have chin. You don't have nexual structure or nothing else for a body to operate. So, let me look at some of y'all questions real quick. And let me respond. Yes, I saw that same video, and she got up and went into the bathroom at the Trump Tower because she was getting ready to tell a lie, and she didn't want people to hear. Brittany said, on point. Thank you so much, Brittany. I try to be. Even when I get sidetracked, I try to be. there are people targeting children under 18 too. Of course, Judah, but they ain't gonna talk about them folks. Derek said, Dana, is it safe to say that other people beside the government have a vast right and see Robert S. Kelly locked up? Because it's time for him to get the right back to be. Hold on. It's time for him to get the right back to be in music. Facts. Facts. And it's some of the same people that was smiling in his face. I totally agree. Judah J, like I said, Rob is not a pedophile. Facts. Love is Beautiful Jones, right. Hey, can I get at least 20 more likes? I appreciate it. 20 more likes. So, hey, I said that to say this. Don't get sidetracked by what's going on. Because I will say this. The stuff that happened on that panel last night, that was a distraction to what came out. And I'm not saying that them people were distractions. I'm saying the way it happened was a distraction. And how certain people jumped up there just to argue. Nobody got a point across. But some people got up there just to say F your mama, F you, you was 15 when this and this and this. Hold up. Hold on. You reached the DanaJay show. How can I help you?
Hi, DanaJay. This is Kellz with the Joker Bongean at Compass. How are you?
This is who?
COMICAL. I'm actually giving you a follow-up call because we were able to connect yesterday.
Okay, yes, you caught me at a bad time. Can I call you right back in approximately an hour?
Okay, sure. I would then check on you 4:47.
Okay, cool, because this is about the house, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Dana.
No problem, no problem.
I'll expect your call then within an hour.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank
All right.
you.
No problem. So, like I'm saying, making moves, constantly making moves. Like I'm saying, at the end of the day, pay attention to what the government's doing. They're stalling just so they can try to get at least a fraction of something that makes sense so they can respond adequately to Miss Jennifer Bongean. However, if it's not there, the evidence cannot be presented. So let's just sit back and see what the government do for the rest of the day. Let's see what the response is. When I say Jennifer ain't even playing chess no more. She playing world chess. The government is boxed in. I see what she's doing, but I'm not going to put it out there. Because if I put it out there, then people can prepare for it. So no. Jenny, keep doing what you're doing, Jennifer. We stand with Jennifer. So if anything come out, if it don't come from her office, I'm not doing it. I'm not promoting it. I'm not speaking on it. And I don't care who get mad. If it comes from her office, I will follow through with it. I will promote it. And I will make sure I pump it up on this page. I don't care who goes in to see Robert. You cannot have me raise money on this platform to send to a Cash App when the same people denied Robert defense fund that was going directly to him via his lawyer that was on the case. So if y'all can be that low to divert that, I can be that high to not indulge in what y'all trying to do to get to somebody else, to pay somebody else's rent. Because the last thing I heard, Robert needs $1,600 to pay his rent. And Robert lives in the MDC right now. So I didn't know the MDC was charging people rent. If that's the case, how can we get Robert evicted? How can we get Robert evicted? For the lay people that's coming in, that's putting up information and dates and stuff, Love is Beautiful Jones, I explained that already. But the response is due April the 7th, which is at midnight. But the government responded and didn't put a body, didn't put nothing in their response. Now, electronically, you can say it got lost. That buys you time to try to come up with stuff. We ain't going. We don't want no extensions. We want the government to produce now. Not tomorrow. Now. Since they produced a empty receipt last night. And then I'm going to go here. It should be some type of penalty for sending false and empty documentation. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that. Why the courts don't implement that? That stops all the drama. For people that file false reports, why can't it be reverse jail time for whatever that sentence is? That stops all of that. So if you want to put a stop to some things, you just reverse some things. Make it make sense. We stand with Jennifer Bongean. We defend Robert Kelly and the side of truth. I don't know about nobody else. But I'll be back later on to give you an update. Check it out. DanaJay gone.
Yeah, what's up? This your homeboy Ice Cube. You know what it is, the West Coast Warlord, the Grand Wizard. Don Mega is in the house. Now check this out. I'm inviting you to join the official Black People Social Network. WeGotUps.com. That's WeGotUps.com. 100% black owned, man. I see you here, boys. I see you. You out there doing it, man. And as we say in the Big 3 League, we got ups, baby. So WeGotUps.com. Check it out, man. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, black people, we definitely need to socialize, get together, figure out this system we all going through. So, you know, WeGotUps.com promises to be that place. Like I said, black owned. Gotta love it. And, you know, willing to make sure that you guys make a social connection. So WeGotUps.com, you know, from your homeboy Ice Cube. Got to throw up the dub, you know, for that. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, official Black People Social Network. You know, I get it right. Don't worry about nothing. Just join, man. Join the official Black People Social Network. WeGotUps.com. WeGotUps.com, man. That's easy, man. We got ups, baby. We got ups. Your homeboy Ice Cube, and I'm out. Throwing up the dub for We Got Ups, man. Check it out.
And when you come over, turn that blue gray when you look up official DanaJay. And I'm going to tell y'all this right here. And I'm going to keep it a buck. It's 3:54 p.m. right now. At 5:30, be back here. I'm going to give the government hell. Now we're going to talk real redemption on reclaiming your birthright. I'm going to show you some things that the government don't want you to see. The government don't want you to know about. I'm going to read you some things that the government don't want you to see. The government don't want you to know about. I'm just saying. 5:30. If you got the intestinal fortitude to learn the truth, or at least get on the right page of the truth, come over, meet me there. Right here. I'm going to make it all make sense for you of why I'm not a person and why you shouldn't be either. See you at 5:30. Let's get that gully work in. Peace.
Swimming in you. Hey, little mama said I wanna take her. Dip in your pool. Just go for a little dive, yeah.